Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of The Suited Shootist. And I guess I'm doing another style rant. Earlier in the week, I managed to start a rather spirited discussion because in the Bespoke Solutions page, one of the guys was asking specifically about cargo shorts, and a couple of us kind of went into some detail as to why cargo shorts are kind of not a preferred option. And so I decided to delve in a little bit more detail, and I shared that in a Facebook post and on Instagram. I'll link that down below so you can check it out. And admittedly, it is not a problem that is exclusive to cargo shorts per se. They are just the most consistent and egregious offender of shorts that dudes wear that are too baggy and too long. And so I was going into sort of the details as to why, if you want shorts that are going to be a little bit more flattering, you generally want them to fit a little bit closer to the leg. Then, you don't want them skin tight. They're not bike shorts. And they don't have to be the 2-inch hoochie daddy shorts. But realistically, most men tend to benefit from something 7-inch inseam, give or take. You want something that stops above the knee for the most part. And what was interesting was, aside from, just the typical people dismissing it outright, it's like, oh, well, I don't care how I look. Okay, then why are you commenting on my stuff? Because clearly you're not the target demo. But for those that do have some level of care as to how they present and their appearance, the other kind of bullshit dismissal was, function over form, and it's bullshit. And I'll tell you that I can prove to you that it's bullshit, because if it was truly function over form, then there would be zero sort of emotional investment into what somebody was wearing, and it would be pure practicality. So everything would just be a single color, kind of like muumuu, just throw on over the top and, drapes down, Crocs. There would be no lifestyle brands. There would be no appeal of graphic t-shirts and any of that stuff. So it's just outright false. When people say, function over form, first off, they're drawing a false dichotomy, because it's not either or. You can have both. It just requires a little bit more care and attention, and it boils back down to the same reason why I don't care how I look is a lie. It's just that they don't want to put the requisite effort in. Because the reason that I'm wearing this is I literally just got back from a physical therapy appointment. Sprained my knee in jiu-jitsu a couple weeks back, and so there's a PT place here locally that's helped me rehab that, because I don't want to be off the mats any longer than I have to be. Don't roll with new white belts. Anyways, besides the point. But this is not dressy. I'm wearing a Henley, and I'm wearing gray drawstring joggers. I mean, this is not dressed up by any stretch of the imagination. But I still look put together, and it's extremely comfortable. The Mack Weldon stuff that I've been playing with and wearing, huge fan. I really do like their materials. They are one of those brands that I was talking about on the Primary and Secondary podcast, where they're doing some of the more technical fabrics for like everyday wear type stuff that can kind of bridge the gap between athleisure and a little bit more elevated. I mean, it's still very casual, but buttoned up at least. So, but that's my point, is first off, you can have both form and function. Now, if there are circumstances where additional cargo space, additional storage space may be called for. If you've got multiple kids, if you're doing something like Disneyland, circumstances like that, I'm not saying necessarily that cargo shorts are, completely excommunicado and there's no excuse to wear them ever, period, hard to stop whatsoever. What I am saying is that generally speaking, I see people wearing them a whole lot more than is appropriate. And because of the typical design of these shorts, they are too baggy and too long. And so they make people they look boxy, and they make them look like they've got skinny ass legs. So there is a balance here. You don't have to sacrifice form for function. It was very interesting. In that thread, a couple of brands got brought up. I think it was either Levi or Wrangler, one of them, and apparently Vertex as well. And hell, I just saw Matt Little, one of his recent Instagram reels, talking about another clothing brand that he's checking out. There are some options on the market that give you additional pocket space beyond just the traditional kind of 4-pocket cut of a standard chino. And if you really need that, then that's something to explore. But the considerations are, if you are getting to a point where you are really loading your pockets to bear, then at that point, number one, you're hanging all that extra crap off of your hips, which is not necessarily the most orthopedic, the most sort of orthopedically sound solution. So just from a pure physical well-being standpoint, you'd probably be better served, just getting yourself a simple, shoulder bag, something like this, or finding an alternative solution, because once you have all those pockets stuffed to the gills, now you're looking like, the Michelin Man, and it's just, people need to get past that it's this either or type thing. The whole idea of concerning yourself with clothing fit is that it creates the most flattering silhouette possible. I'm walking around right now at about 235, which honestly is about 25 pounds heavier than I'd like. But, the reality is that fairly tailored clothing still helps to accentuate the better attributes that I've got than just wearing a bunch of baggy bullshit that makes me look like a sack of potatoes. Now, obviously, different body types are going to have to dress differently. So I'm barrel-chested, and so even when I'm trim, all of this is still fairly rectangular. I've never had like a real sharp, aggressive V to my physique. Those guys that do, they're the lucky ones. If you are a little bit more ample in the midsection, then, that's something you have to factor in. But what guys don't realize is that when they just give up, what they end up doing is highlighting their least attractive physical characteristics as opposed to artfully downplaying them. And so even if you are going to wear shorts that give you more storage space than the traditional 4-pocket chino cut, keep it to, a 7 or an 8-inch inseam. Keep the leg hole a little bit closer to the body so that way it doesn't make you look like, baby legs, like the Deadpool photo that I used in my Instagram. So, and again, don't tell me it's function over form, because the way people dress absolutely belies the fact that that's not the case. They just don't want to put the effort in. And if you don't, that's fine. Just say that. Don't try and dismiss it as something frivolous. So, just something to bear in mind, because it doesn't have to be either or. It is entirely possible to wear clothing that is functionally appropriate for the environment and still aesthetically flattering to your build. So, like I said, it's kind of my style rant. What do you guys think? Is this something that you are battling with? Is it something that you feel like, what the hell, I'm going to wear my, 12, 13-inch baggy ass shorts and, hell and be damned, doesn't matter. But I want to hear the feedback down in the comments. So, aside from that, I hope everybody has a fantastic week. Stay dangerous and stay sharp.